This is a brief introduction on how to use my methodology to teach English conversation skills. I was once read that a failure to identify patterns is the ultimate failure. Whether that's in math, the sciences, or English, if you can't identify the patterns of how one speaks, for example, in conversation, it's hard to show a methodology to the students on how conversation skills develop. You have to be able to take the mystery out of learning conversation skills for the students so that they don't waste their energy and their time on useless drills. So what I do is, if you go to the student video section here, you simply tap this and the student videos come up. In the beginning, the first two major sections here briefly goes over how verbs, the sentences are made and how the questions are made, the adjectives and how the sentences and questions are made. On the sides there are PDFs, which if you simply press on them, it will bring you out to some printouts that you can easily use in your classroom. In order to print them, usually at the bottom you have to press this button, which has the printable version, and if you tap that, it will bring it up, and then you can go and actually print off of your computer. But I won't do that here, but that's how you would do that. You have to tap this first, and then it loads a printable version if you choose to use any of these PDFs. You will see some Korean here. I taught my niece when she came here, and I have some videos of me teaching her, along with some aids for students who know Korean that you may find helpful. Underneath these two major sections about learning how to make a verb and an adjective with the questions and sentences, there's a variety of different how-tos on, to how to ask for help, how to ask for advice, how to apologize. And if you tap on these, generally what happens is a YouTube video will come out. They're all free. It will take you through all of how to ask for advice. On the side here, there's always a PDF of what you find in the video, which you can print out and simply give to the student. It's a short format. Everything revolves around verbs. The V is for verb, S is for sentence, A is for adjectives. So although I don't teach any grammatical terms formally during this, they do have to know the verb, an adjective, a noun, a pronoun. So the basic, the date and the time I handle in a separate lesson, but at the bottom here, it will show you the pattern guide for the videos. There are 40 different, I call them hours, actually they're just lessons. And if you tap here, it will bring you to a list of the lessons taught in hour 1. I say it's hour, but it's actually lesson 1, 2, 3. And it goes all the way through the 40 lessons. So each class period, we're only teaching about 6 or 7 skills in each of the lessons. We begin with patterns with verbs, which is the V, and these are all with verbs. Beginning in lesson 11, it starts with adjectives, how adjectives can be used with patterns. And then that's followed by some complex patterns and a variety of different other patterns used in conversation. Patterns usually convey feelings in English. And if you were to use one verb, for example, go, I want to go, I have to go, I try to go, I like to go, I know how to go, I need to go. Go is the same, but the feeling changes here. If you go to a dictionary, you won't find these patterns. But in conversation, they are used a lot. And you have to be able to identify them for the students. And we go through each of them one at a time. In the second hour, I'll show you that we have reviews, which include the second and the third. After studying the third, there'll be reviews combining all three. Some students like flashcards. Or let me go back here. On the side here, the Korean, this is simply the same identical patterns in Korean. If you're bilingual, you may be able to develop your own patterns that are identical in Spanish or French or Japanese. But these are the same patterns, excuse me, used in Korean, which reflects that identical feeling. Conversation is all about expressing feelings. You'll often hear students say, I've studied a lot of English, but I just can't express myself. The reason they can't express themselves is that they use very few patterns in English, and that leaves them literally a verbal cripple. They're not able to express their feelings. Underneath this, there's free flashcards. This simply is a template. This has each of the patterns. There's 8 to a page. Number 2 simply relates to the lesson 2. Lesson 1, these are learned in lesson 1. Some students gravitate towards using flashcards, and if they do this, they simply print this out, and they cut along this line, and they can use flashcards to help themselves during the learning process. In each of the lessons here, if you tap on this first part here, it will identify for you the patterns that we learn in this particular lesson. On the side here is, well, first of all, the patterns. These are all YouTube videos. You simply tap on them and it will bring you to the video. On the side here in English, the PDF is simply the 5-6 patterns that we learned during this time, simple questions and what, where, why, when. It's because I don't use a book during the class, I give them a printout of what we're going to learn, and we review this during the class one at a time. The videos will take you through each one of those. If you and the identical PDF is found here in Korean if they want that. These are the same identical patterns in Korean, for example. At the bottom middle here, you'll find also in Korean, this is my niece's name. When I taught her, I videotaped the sessions, and you see how I teach. I'm sure you'll be able to do a much better job, but it's the way I taught during that time, and showed you how within 40 hours you can get develop their skills quite easily. In here we have reviews. There's a review of the patterns here. Each one of these will have at least 200 questions. It's a YouTube video. On the side here, there's a PDF they can print out if they like. This is the verbatim of what you find on the video. When they tap the video for the review, let's see if we can start this. I put I manually put in these captions. The captions stay on until the next question is asked. So a question is asked, the student simply answers. Where did he try? What did he try to do? He tried to study. Then the next question will come out in a second. When does she need to get it? She needs to get it now. There's a time where they can answer the question. The caption of the question remains up that full time. You'll see here that I have a couple of patterns. Whenever you see the S, these are simply sentences, and student has to make a question. Question is a much more difficult skill than actually making a sentence. So it forces them to develop their questioning habits. Any of these review patterns that you find here that have a P on it there is a photo. Once again, this is the PDF. If you click here, verbatim comes out of the video. The video, once again, does have the captions if you choose to have those. And the questions all revolve around the patterns learned within that lesson. And they're randomly. Won't they know how to play football? They won't know how to play football. During the class session, and I also, in the first few lessons, have this little abbreviation here. And basically what it is I have taken random sentences in the past, present, in the present tense. And the student has to make, when this comes up, I'll show you. This is a question in the present tense. There's only 12 variables in any pattern. You have a positive and a negative question, and it's in the present, past, and the future. And then you have a positive sentence and a negative sentence in the present, past, and future. So I give them this in the positive sentence. Do you want to go? Then they need to make it here. Did he want to go? Will he want to go? Don't you want to go? Didn't you want to go? Won't you want to go? Then they go down here to number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is the sentence. You want to go. You wanted to go. You will want to go. You don't want to go. You didn't want to go. You won't want to go. These are patterns learned, and this is simple ways that they can practice their patterns. So each of these lessons contains at least 2 with photos. There are these drills that you'll find here. Then we go on to lesson, the same is just repeated. But notice here, when we get to lesson 2, this review of patterns is reviewing all the patterns that they learned in lesson 1 and lesson 2. P is with the pictures. Once again, PDFs are available. There's always 200 questions in each of these videos. As we progress through here, you will see that, for example, we're down here to patterns 11. What is studied in that? We study these patterns. It looks good, it smells good, it tastes good, it feels good, etc. But here's the PDF that we use to give them in the class as an aid, to give them a visualization of the methodology or the patterns used. And they simply go through these first 2 are only reviewing these patterns in 20. As we go down here, these are reviewing patterns 1 through 20. So it gets a bit more complicated, but we're always reviewing what we've learned in the past. There's no sense learning something and then be totally disconnected from it the next day, because all these patterns, there's about 150 of them, they're all interconnected and can be used multiple times. So you have to constantly reinforce. As you see, as we go down here, you will see that we're reinforcing 1 to 25. First, this is 25, is lessons regarding I wish I could go, I wish I would go, those patterns. These are only reviewing those patterns. This is 1 to 25. These are with pictures. These are no pictures. These are with pictures. So basically, we go down through the whole 40 hours. And once again, we're always reviewing what we've learned. You will see here in the middle, of course, this is my when I taught my niece. I've videotaped that, and that's in YouTube, and you can see that if you like. Otherwise, there is this this PDF here is identical to this one, but this one has the Korean equivalent to it. It's being generated now. This is stored in the cloud, but This will show you the pattern in Korean and the pattern in English. So it goes all the way through 40 hours. All of the videos are free. All of them have captions. All of them have a PDF. Many students may say to you, well, when I'm reviewing, I don't know if I'm making a mistake or not. Okay, if you want to know if you're not making a mistake or not, just say, well, then repeat what you hear. So there will be in the video, it will say, what can you eat? So instead of answering it, if they don't have the confidence, just tell them to repeat the question. What can you eat? What can you eat? Where could she go? Where could she go? When have they slept? When have they slept? So just have them repeat it. If you have 2 students, you can give them a PDF of this. They can practice speaking by asking the questions here and listen for the answer from the other student. And then they can do it vice versa. During the lessons, I have them. Let me go back here. If I ask a question in let me see if I got the right one here. Okay. If I ask a positive question in the present tense, do you go? For practice purposes, during and while we study, they have to answer in the present positive with me. If I answer a negative question in the past tense, didn't you go? They have to say, I didn't go. I want to know if they heard what I said and can answer in the same tense. And of course, in conversation, sometimes there's a negative answer to a negative question, a positive answer to a negative question. But during the learning process, if I ask a past positive question, they have to answer a past positive sentence. If I say in a future, will you go? They have to say, I will go. If they say, I won't go, I'm wondering to myself, well, did they hear will or did they hear won't? Or I want to know that they heard what I said and I'm able to repeat it back to me. The focus and the purpose of all this is to give students the ability to help control a conversation. There are about 150 patterns here. The American, the native speaker in English, will use maybe about 90 of those within an hour, unconsciously, quite unconsciously. Some of them multiple times. So you're teaching the students what they will hear the most, but more importantly, you're teaching them how to speak naturally, with confidence, and you'll be able to give them a tool where they're able to control the native speaker. If they just let the native speaker speak, keep talking and talking and talking, they'll completely lose them. They have to be able to ask they have to be able to control the native speaker. They control them through these patterns. If you ask somebody to answer these questions in English, they would answer with the same pattern. If you said, are you going to go? If they would answer with a full sentence, they're going to say, I'm going to go or I'm not going to go. Will you be able to go? I will be able to go or I won't be able to go. Did he say to go? He said to go. He didn't say to go. Usually there's just a positive and a negative, and people will repeat with the same pattern. Now, granted, native speakers, if you say, do you want to go? They may answer, I do, or just yes, very simply. But they do that out of a strength. A student in the beginning who just answers yes or I do is doing it out of a weakness. Have them make the full sentence. So the purpose of the videos is to give them lots of room where they can practice. You can give them the tools to learn. And if they're motivated, they will go through these sessions here by themselves in their own house while they're sitting on the bus going to school, before they go to bed, whatever, to develop their skills. The more you're able to get them to speak, have the words roll off their lips, use the patterns, identify the patterns, ask the questions, answer with the same patterns, they will really quite simply develop conversation skills. So in the beginning, as soon as I find out that a student is, since the first couple of patterns lessons are with verbs, as soon as I find out that they're comfortable with how to make a sentence or a question, we go right to the patterns. Now this is my explanation of all of those patterns, how to make the question and so forth. You would be doing this yourself as a teacher. These how-to that you see here, I give maybe one of these a lesson to them so that they can see, how do you apologize? This is the video on how to do it, and this here is the printout of what is in the video. And it will show them how to sound naturally. I'm sorry for coming late. I'm sorry for not telling you. I'm sorry for not giving it to you. These patterns don't change. Excuse me for taking that. I'm sorry for being here. I'm sorry for being thoughtless. So these patterns they can use, and it's really quite simple. I developed this because I wanted to have something where I knew where I had a map for my students to use, that I know what they've learned, they know what I've taught, I know what they're responsible for. And since these are used so much in conversation, I'm not wasting their time. I'm not building really vocabulary skills with them. Vocabulary skills are really for the more highly developed reading skills. Conversation is basic vocabulary with a heavy dose of patterns, which you'll find here. So if they know the patterns, they'll be able to control conversation. And by constantly reviewing and reinforcing it, they will develop very good conversation skills. Thank you.